Simply put, the reason you're not winning games right now in college football 26 is because you can't consistently score more points than your opponent. And it probably boils down to 5 offensive mistakes that you're making. But don't worry, because I'm going to correct them in this video and make sure you're winning those 90% of the time. Let's jump right into it. All right, so the first thing you need to change and make sure you're actually using is the best offensive settings. You really can't score points if you don't have good settings going into the game. Let me show you the best ones to use. All right, so if we come into options or we come into settings, all right, then we come down to passing mechanics. Placement and accuracy needs to be on. Pass lead increase should be on small or none. If you're more of a beginner with freeform, I would probably just put it on none. It really doesn't make that big of a difference in this game, but you want to have your reticle speed. Anything in between 5 and 20, in my opinion, is fine. I have mine on 8 right here. All right, so but those are just, you can set those before the game, right? You don't have to actually be in the game, but these are maybe even more important, all right? You want to make sure you come down into your coaching adjustments, again, pressing the right stick in, and you want to put your auto pass protection on base, okay? So we're going to come call really any play, and I'm going to show you what happens if you don't have it on base, all right? We're going to come into actually display verticals, right? And so you see I have mine on base, but if you didn't have it on base, there's a chance that EA will give you like these blue lines, these blue pass protection lines, all right? And basically what this means is in this case, it's going to tell your offensive line to half slide towards the right? And so that's fine. It can be fine, but look at a play like this. They're blitzing off the left side, and I didn't even call this play. This was a random play. And so this kind of shows you the problem that can get created when you leave it off and you don't put it on base. So again, you're gonna, like, for example, if they called this blitz, they probably know how to set up the blitz, right? And that means half sliding the line probably to the left right here, all right? And so they half slide their line to the left, and so they're gonna try to be blitzing you off of this left side. So again, maybe they move their slot corner down, and we're just gonna take the snap, and you see how one guy comes in completely free. Not only did the slot corner, come down and make a play, or have the ability to make a play, but a whole defensive end came in free immediately on my quarterback. That's a problem, all right? And the thing is, if you called this play and you didn't look at your pass protection, you probably would never know that, hey, I need to have my auto pass protection on base, right? But since, if you did put it on base, they would actually slide over correctly and they would be able to pretty easily block this blitz. You see how these two guys are double teaming over here? Like your whole line shifted in the opposite direction that they needed to. So again, if you just put it on base, you'll come out in base blocking like this every play. All right, so if we just have them call another slot corner blitz off of this left side right here, and we're in base blocking, well, it's going to be a lot easier for us to actually pick up this blitz, because you're going to see our guys are going to slide over. And again, you have to get rid of the ball, right? But right there, it's like they didn't slide over in the wrong direction, right? Some blitzes still require you to set pass protection. I guess this one is, right? Especially if you send 5 out. But you see how the whole line didn't slide over. Like last time, 57 was like all the way inside, right? Right here, he's actually blocking the guy on the edge. And so maybe if I ID'd the mic, they'd be able to actually pick this up. So again, it's not to say that you never have to set pass protection. Like, auto pass protection on base doesn't make it to where, you just don't have to set pass protection. But I'm just saying, like, okay, if they want to send this same blitz now, I can identify it and then half slide my line in the correct direction if I wanted to. So if I felt like I needed to block this blitz on the right side, I could half slide my line that way. And now you see how they slide over, the running back picks him up, and now I have plenty of time to throw. So, I would still recommend blocking your running back pretty often. That'll help you. But do not use auto pass protection off, because you don't want EA to set pass protection in the wrong direction and they blitz you off of the other side. All right, the next thing you need to make sure you're doing to transform your offense is simply using the right playbook. Let me show you one of my favorites you should be using right now. All right, and that playbook is going to be the Georgia playbook. Obviously, I have an offensive ebook on this, again, at bltforlife21.com. Link will be in the pinned comment. You can use code WELCOME to get 20% off. But, if we just come into this play, this is a very methodical offense, right? That's why I built it, because I understand everyone doesn't want to just throw the ball every play, throw bombs over the top. sometimes you just want to be patient and hit a lot of your underneath passes, call good route concept, right? You're going to see how I love to talk about the everything beater, all right? I love to call plays that can beat every single defense in the game, and this one, smash return from Gun Bunch, is one of them, all right? So, I mean, you can put your running back on a table route if you want, or you can just block him, but bottom line, this is what the route concept looks like, all right? You're just going to take the snap. The first read is always going to be your tight end, and then you're going to try to look over the top to your crosser. So create that high-low. If their user, jumps high, then you throw to your tight end, and then vice versa. But also, if the play breaks down, maybe they have a good user, right? You can always just hit this backside return route. So again, a route concept like this does a great job of taking advantage of the 1, 2, 3 read progression that I talk about, where, I mean, in this case, I could have just hit my first read, and you probably should, but in the case of showing you, I want to show you that the third read can get open on this play as well, and that's the great thing. So it looks like they could possibly be in man coverage right here, and so again, this play is designed to beat man as well, because you're able to see, boom, we're able to hit that drag underneath, and then I'm sure we had our crosser, we probably had our return route. All 3 routes do a great job of beating man, but they also are spaced out enough to where they can beat zone coverage and attack every area. So again, we're gonna have them be in man coverage right here, block our running back again, and you're going to see man coverage, and we just hit our first read. It's very important that you're just hitting your first read. Make offense easy. You don't have to look to push the ball down the field. When you're starting out in games, you want to look underneath and force them to come down. That'll open everything else up. But if we come to another, great power play here from this Georgia offense, fake screen wheel. All right, we're coming to fake screen wheel. We're gonna look at their coverage, right? I mean, obviously you would need to read their coverage, but right here they're gonna be in cover 3, and so this plays great against cover 3 because it's a great quick snap play. Just block your running back, right? And if they want to put their hook zones really far down, you just attack them right up the seam, right? So you have your tight end seam ball, you have your B receiver seam route, right? So I mean, you can really just attack them in every area, right? This time I'm not even gonna check to see what coverage they're in, but right here they're in cover 2, and this is when this play is the best, when they're in cover 2, because essentially what you're gonna do is put this outside corner right here in what we call no man's land, where he's caught in a bad spot and he can't guard anything. All right, so you're gonna see how we have a hitch. If he comes too far down, he's gonna give up this wheel, but if he doesn't come far enough down, we're just gonna hit the hitch. And right here, he's kind of actually in no man's land where he's not guarding either of them, and so really I'm just gonna push the ball down the field and look to my shot over the top. But a key thing also with this, if they run cover 2, is this route to B, because he's just gonna hold this safety inside just enough. You see how the safety wants to dart out and guard that fade, but then he turns back inside to guard the shriek for a moment. And so that's gonna give you just enough time to be able to throw the fade route. All right, again, optional, you could put your running back on a Texas route or an in route to give yourself some more, just in case, like right here, if they run man coverage, right, then I'm throwing that, right? And you can probably just reel that pass in at times. You could have also taken it off of your quarterback. So it's like, I wouldn't call that play against man coverage personally. There's other plays again in my offensive ebook that you can check out, and you can call in those situations. But this is a play that's pretty much designed to beat cover 2. Because once we run over the top of those flat zones, it's going to be easy pickings and an easy walk-in touchdown. So this Georgia offense is one that you seriously need to take a look at because it has plays for every defense. All right, so again, the best part about that Georgia offense is you go to the link down below in the pinned comment and check it out today for 20% off when you use code WELCOME at my website, bltforlife21.com. I can't wait to help you out on offense. All right, so the next thing I want to show you that's going to make your offense way better is an RPO trick that's going to make these plays, RPOs, way better. Let me show you. All right, now you can only actually do this from certain RPOs in this game. Like, you can't do this from every RPO, but a great example is from this James Madison playbook, gun trips, tight end flex, and we're gonna be looking at RPO zone alert Omaha, all right? So here's the thing with this play. You can hot route the B receiver and the A receiver to whatever route you want. All right, and so why is that useful? Because when we take this snap, we understand that, especially if they're in zone coverage, right, you can throw this bubble and it's going to be pretty good for you, right? I mean, obviously you want to make sure you have the right passing settings on, like I showed you earlier, but it's like, a bubble is fine. Like, a bubble can work. You see how, you're consistently able to get that pass out there, And like, it's gonna be perfectly fine for you on offense, you know, to be able to call these bubbles. But there's a way that you can make them even better, right? When you actually put the man on a flat route. So we're actually going to see them in zone coverage one more time right here. And I want to put B on a flat, right, instead of the bubble. And you see how he's going to break out to the flat way faster. And if that man number 0 can actually set up his block on the outside, it's going to be very easy for you. So again, we're going to put them in cover 2 right here. We're going to call the flat route. If he can get his block, you see how getting out to the flat makes this way better, and we're able to turn that into a big gain because again, he's not running backwards. He's getting full momentum out there to the sideline. So again, boom, take it. I mean, you're gonna, if they run cover 3, you need your guys to set up their blocks. We have JMU against Georgia, but if they do want to run cover 3, here's something else that you can do, right? If they want to run cover 3, and obviously against this RPO, here's the thing. A lot of the time that seam area is going to be open. So instead of putting on a bubble now you just put them on a shriek. And now you just look right up the seam. So again, if they want to put RPO defense out there to try to maybe defend a bubble or a flat, anticipating it, now you just hit them with, you know, a different route, right? So again, they're going to be in cover 2 right here. And so again, you're just going to put them on a flat. This would be the great time to use the flat because we're going to get that block out there and we're going to be able to turn that into a big game. So it's really just playing a cat and mouse game with them of where do they want to put their defenders. Right here, you can obviously see that area, you know, that seam area is going to be open, and so I'm just taking the step and I'm looking right up that seam, and I'm going to be able to turn that into a big game. So the trick really is hot riding your RPOs, not necessarily relying on what EA already gives you, and actually taking advantage of, you know, the fact that you can put them on whatever route you want. I mean, you can also do this with your tight end, put your tight end on a drag, and you're going to see how there was a linebacker there, but if there's no one in the middle of the field, right, you can just very easily hit your tight end drag. So right here, I'm going to actually take that man out of the middle of the field. Maybe their user vacates the middle. So with this RPO, then boom, you can just hit that over the middle of the field versus having him on an out route, right? So again, the key trick here is hot riding your RPOs and really thinking about where their defenders are going to be, and then just calling your routes to other areas, right? And you don't have to do this, right? Because if they run man coverage and there's a man standing right over the top of number 18, you have your outside leverage and you're just going to be able to throw that pass out there, given he doesn't have butterfingers. So again, it's all about playing smart. You don't have to use the bubble or the flat or the streak ever, but it is a good adjustment that you can make to counter some of the defensive counters against RPOs. All right, if you've enjoyed any of the 3 tips I've talked about so far, they don't even compare to the last 2, but if you want everything I've talked about in written form on your phone so you can save it in your next game, again, go to the link down below in the description in the pinned comment and check out my written tactical breakdowns where, again, you can save everything I've talked about in this video for your next game. Let's jump right back into it. All right, the next thing I want to show you is a glitch route against man coverage. It's going to allow you to get over the top behind the defense and score easy touchdowns. Let me show you. All right, so that route that I'm talking about is going to be the slot fade route. So this is really good, especially, I mean, we know press man's a meta where they might have better corners than you, and so they're just gonna try to press your dudes into the dirt. All right, so all you're gonna do, put X on a slot fade route. All right, slot fade. Now that's not all you have to do, because really what you have to make sure that happens is you're able to get over the top and behind the defense. All right, so you're gonna smart route him, so he's gonna run a little bit further up the field, and then you're gonna custom stem him up one time. Now, I do recommend that you call a good route concept behind this blitz, right? Utilize other man being routes so that, because this is a longer developing route, right? He's running super far down the field before he even cuts. So you're gonna need time to throw. So again, I would recommend maybe calling one that I told you earlier, maybe something like this where you have 3 man beaters around the slot fade. But here, I'm just gonna spy off the pass rush, set it up, and you can see how basically when he bends this route off towards the sideline, he's going to actually be able to get behind the DB. Now, you need a quarterback that can throw the ball that far if you're gonna lob it over the top. Right here, it's like Gunnar Stockton kind of underthrows it, but I want you to pay attention to this. All right, the press happens right here, which is fine. They're pretty much even right here. But really, when he continues running up the field, he's gonna bend this route off and create this separation. Now, honestly, I think this guy's pretty slow, 86. But it honestly just shows you how it doesn't really matter who's in these spots. I mean, you're still going to get behind the defense. And obviously, when you put faster receivers and get behind the defense a little bit better, it's going to obviously be even better for you. But we're going to set it up again where we put Bell in the slot fade, then we smart route him up the field, all right, and then we custom stem him up one notch. All right, so now you're going to see he's going to be able to get behind this secondary. And again, I'm going to split off the pass rush for the sake of showing you, but again, you would just set up a route concept just in case you got shedded to still beat man quickly. All right, you're going to see it right here where he's kind of bagged, but then you're just going to lob that pass over the top, get behind the secondary, and you're able to see we're able to score a touchdown. So again, a route that they play, that man in man coverage, number 30, he really did a good job right there. He did everything correct. He got a pretty good press, stays on top of the route, but it's just how the game is coded, where if you can just call these slot fades, and honestly, he's really guarded. He maybe has half of a yard step, right? But we're able to just get behind this. And that's why freeform, like I told you earlier, having the right freeform settings, because I did freeform passing that ball out towards the corner of the end zone, right? And so that certainly helps, especially when it's this close. But you can see it doesn't really matter. This guy Bell is kind of slow, and this DB seems to be kind of fast to me. And so you're able to see we're still able to score the ball over the top, get behind the defense. So you have pretty good receivers, or I mean, you're just getting beat by press man. Start using this slot fade route. Again, from any formation, and you're going to be able to beat them for easy touchdowns over the top. All right, so that last trick that you need to know about that's going to make your offense way better is simply using the Playmaker. Let me show you the best use cases for it. All right, so what am I talking about when I say the Playmaker? All right, I'm talking about the feature in the game that allows you to basically control where one of your closest receiver is running during the play. All right, so you're gonna see right here, they're gonna be in cover 3. I'm just gonna call a bad route concept, and you're gonna see that this is gonna get completely guarded, right? This drag, I mean, he's absolutely caged. But you see how low those hook zones are and those underneath defenders? It almost feels like if you just can get him to run up the field, right, you're gonna just be able to run right over the top of those guys and honestly score a big play. And so that's where the Playmaker kind of comes in, because all you really have to do, again, it's going to be the closest receiver. And so I'm going to have them call the same defense. We're going to call the same play, but you're going to notice this time how I'm going to Playmaker this man up the field, and you're going to see how wide open he gets. And again, that's why you don't call a bad play, so that when you do get shedded, if you do, right, you can throw it. But you're able to see how wide open he was on that play simply because I actually Playmakered him up the field. All right, so we're gonna do it again right here. They're gonna shade their defense down. I'm just gonna Playmaker him up, and you can see how we're just able to get into the middle of the defense and score again. A huge gain on a play that was supposed to be bagged on paper. But you're gonna say, Guilty, how are you doing that, right? So again, all you have to do is you need to make sure that whoever, so here's the thing, you don't ever want to like telegraph a Playmaker. So I would never call this play like feeling like or knowing I'm going to Playmaker before the snap. It's all impulse. So I would probably call something like this, right? Or like a smash return type of play. And if they happen to play good defense, that's when you Playmaker up. But for the sake of showing you, right, I'm just going to telegraph my Playmaker, right? So all I'm going to do is have them set up the same defense, and I'm holding left trigger or L2, and then I'm going to, flick the right stick up to kind of aim where he's going. So again, right there, it's like I'm in the pocket, and then I hold left trigger and then right stick in the direction that I want him to run. So again, boom, he's gonna run this drag. I see how low these hook zones are, so I know that, if I just Playmaker, I'm gonna be able to get to the perfect spot, right? So I just, again, holding left trigger, and then I'm gonna flick my right stick up, just like that. And so then he's just gonna run up the field into this wide open area of green grass, right? And it really wouldn't matter even if I waited longer, like, right, if I set up the same play, they set up the same defense, right? If I waited a little bit longer to Playmaker him, like right there, you see how he doesn't exactly get to the same spot, but it's still an opening on the field that we can take advantage of. So honestly, with the Playmaker, you wanna make sure that you're only Playmakering to open areas of grass, right? And honestly, right here, that's why this is the best use case, because when people want to get aggressive, you can just Playmaker right over the top of their zones and turn this into a big play. So again, a lot of different use cases for it. You can even, like, let's just say, for example, I called this play, right? I called this play and they bag me, all right? I could roll outside the pocket and then Playmaker this tight end up, right? And then if I wanted to, like, I got some more time, I could throw it over the top. So it's honestly really good even when you're on the run, So again, I'm going to take the snap, try to roll outside the pocket, Playmaker my tight end up, and you see how he's going to run over the top of that flat, and so we would just be able to throw that. So a lot of different use cases you can utilize it while in the pocket, which is probably the best way to do it. But even if you like get bagged, feel like you have to roll out, you can Playmaker that tight end over the top and then let that ball go over the top of given flat zone. So QB Playmaker is something you really need to start implementing in your game. Again, by holding left trigger and then flicking the right stick in the direction where you want your man to go. All right, so if you enjoyed that breakdown of 5 tips to make your offense better, again, go to the link down below in the pinned comment and grab either my written breakdown or my offensive ebook to greatly transform your offense even more. And you can use code WELCOME to get 20% off your first purchase. But if you're still struggling on defense in college football 26, check out this video where I break down 5 tips to, again, transform you on that side of the ball. I'll see you over there.